My name is Des Ewing, and I'm the principal of this architectural practice, which is called Des Ewing Residential Architects. And as the name suggests, we do nothing but buildings people live in. The majority of what we do would be one-off houses, large detached dwellings, or work in conservation areas as well, but anything to do with a building that you live in. Well, I didn't initially want to be an architect. I wanted to do television production, producing videos, TV shows, that sort of thing. And at that time, a relation took me around Pebble Mill Studios, and we met a couple of grumpy technicians who said, "Don't do television, do anything else." So that was television out the window. Because I was from the country and liked greenery, etc., I thought I'd be a landscape architect. And then, for some reason, I thought things would be better if I was an architect. I wanted to do something in design, something to do with the environment, something creative. So that's how I ended up going an architecture course and eventually becoming an architect. Well, architecture is, I suppose, well, it's my living, first of all, which is very important. It's something I really enjoy doing. I would do it even if I didn't get paid for it. It's just an enjoyable thing. Not all bits of architecture are good. There's a lot of it that's a bit boring, a lot of paperwork and those bits and pieces. But the ability to create a space or a building, an environment that people are going to live in and enjoy and hopefully improve their life is something that makes me feel I'm doing something that is worthwhile. I usually work on houses. One-off houses would be the majority of my work. It's something that I love doing. It's more than design, it's working with people, and that's why it's enjoyable. You have usually two people in front of you. You have a site or a building, you have a brief, and it is like a puzzle to be able to create something that is something that the people just love the look of, love the feel of, are excited about. It's something that I know is going to be good for them to live in for the rest of their life. Something that's made the most of the site or the building, and something that is a good, timeless piece of architecture that's going to be something that I will be happy to leave on this earth. So the biggest change, I think, has been the complexity of houses. There are so many different systems that can come in. There are so many more regulations, so many more things that we have to abide by, that we have to make work, so many other consultants we have to coordinate at the same time. So what we're trying to achieve is the same thing. How we get there is a lot different, a lot more consultants, a lot more talk, a lot more paperwork, a lot more complications. And within that, it's important to not lose the objective of what you're trying to do, which is to create a building that is simple, clean, beautiful, cost-effective, and works well. So it's just more complicated. So the majority of our projects are, we specialize in large luxury houses. And part of the reason that we specialize in those is I love designing houses. It's very difficult to make a living designing smaller houses, because the fee for a smaller house is obviously small, but yet the amount of time that a client will spend with you working with that is probably more. than it is for a larger house. And the reason is it's a bigger percentage of their investment of the larger house. So we have to do larger houses, which means you get a better fee, and your client is usually busy off doing other things and doesn't spend so much time with us. So in doing large houses, the biggest thing that I do to make the houses environmentally friendly is to make them smaller, to try and make them smaller, because a lot of the houses for the top end clients are very big, and we design large houses even though we try not to. We try and make them as small, as compact as possible. But when I might meet the person 10 years later, the first thing they will say to me is, this house is too big. It's too big for us. You know, the kids have left home. We use the kitchen, living, dining. We use the master bedroom. We've all these other rooms. We've not been in the dining room for 3 years. And it's the way the house is used. So you have so much wasted material there. And the people 10 years later say, we're going to downsize. We're going to get a smaller house. We don't like to live in this house because it's so big. We have to walk so far from the master bedroom to the kitchen. And we've used all these materials to create something that is not of use, that is actually not luxury, because the people are not happy in it. They have to walk too far. To build a big house, they skimped on insulation, they skimped on getting the good windows, and they will say to me, it's too big and I wish we got the good windows. So it's about quality. And that's really where we can make massive savings on sustainability, is produce smaller, better houses. And if you look around the top end market, all around UK and Ireland, the houses are far too big, and a regulation may well come that reduces the size of them, and that would make more difference than anything. And that's what we try and do in our house. That's the most important thing. So a typical day, well, my days have changed since COVID. Before COVID, a lot of my time was spent traveling to meetings, to see people. You know, if in the pre-COVID days I'd suggested a video meeting, people wouldn't have it. You know, you're shortchanging me, I want to see you, you're the architect for this. But now people are very happy to have video meetings. So instead of traveling around the country to these remote locations, I sit in the office the majority of the time and have video calls and bring up drawings. And as long as you can meet the client at some stage, you know, and certainly at the start of design, you want to meet the client and get to know them a little bit better. But once you do that, video calls are very good. So a lot of my day now is video calls, which saves me an awful lot of time. So this is a dramatic change that has happened. The rest of, I spend time meeting people less in person, which is a shame really, but in terms of being cost effective and getting through more work, doing video calls and having calls and phone calls is a much better way of working. So a lot of my day is spent doing that and answering emails. And then I get to do a bit of design where I can sit and put the headphones on and think and create something. And that's the best bit of the day, to do something like that. So it's good that I have a good mix of what I do. So I enjoy what I do. Yeah, so when we're specifying something, we want to be sure that we're getting a product of quality. And to do that, it's really important that we can understand it. And if a company has a good technical support, they can help us with specifications. You know, it gives us great confidence that we're getting what we want. So on some occasions it's difficult to get that information, and if we can't get that information, we'd be nervous about specifying something. So it's clarity. What we're looking for is clarity of what we're going to get, and what sort of details we have, and what bits we're missing. You know, if we're doing a unique sort of cladding system, on what other bits in the background are we missing out on. It's somebody who knows the real story about it rather than somebody who is a salesperson. That's really critical for us. The future of architecture is certainly going to be more efficient, and it's certainly going to, Instagram will change in that showing off your colossally expensive unsustainable house will be something that I think may become as antisocial as smoking or drink driving, because things don't have to be big, things have to be well designed. And I think that will be certainly in the market that I'm in, I think and hope that will be the difference, where we're looking for quality. Size is not luxury. It doesn't have to be big, and that is something that will have to, the thought process behind that in terms of designing one-off houses will have to change and be challenged, and it will change. It's absolutely got to change. So it will be buildings that are more efficient. That doesn't mean that they're not luxury. I think they'll be greater luxury because they're thought out. You put more thought to a smaller palette of materials and create something that's well designed and well thought of. So design has a great future in that we've got to try and figure this out, how we make these buildings good, how we give them, how we make them beautiful to look at, great to live in, and have that little sparkle of luxury. That's going to need humans to design. It'll not be something that can be done by AI, because we're connecting to humans who have to live in this. So it will be more thought, less materials. I think that's how things will change. One Malone Park is the best road in the city, and it's got some fabulous houses, it's got some not so fabulous houses, but it's really a great place to live. Private road, nice coffee shops down one end, beautiful houses at the other. With it being a conservation area, demolition of buildings are very difficult, but this was a building that you would never had a chance of demolishing because it's just so beautiful. Victorian architecture. It was a former nursing home, and it was an absolute mess and was butchered over the years, but the client could see the potential in it. So our brief was to make it into, our brief was very open, because the client was saying, you'll make it into a beautiful family home. What do we do? To put a modern extension on the back of the building was the obvious thing to do, but we wanted to have something that continued the proportion and the beauty and the color and texture of the building itself, but was of our time, was of now. So it was going to be different. It's the sort of thing that the Victorians would have done had they got the technology that we have now. The Victorians loved a bit of structure. They loved things that were a little bit flamboyant. And the idea of the extension is to produce something that has got small roofs on it, so it's not overtaking the main building. It's reflecting the proportion of the elegant vertical proportion of the Victorian architecture. But also we wanted to have a double height space inside, and that was very important because we had the big trees around us and we wanted to see the big trees. So a big soaring double height space to show that off at the back of the house. You could almost see the trees whenever you come in. It was really the focal point for the design at the back, and that acts as a double height space, and it's got a dressing room sort of office on the mezzanine floor above. It really connects the whole house in a lovely way, and you can see all this greenery even though you're in the middle of the city. So it is a really simple form put onto something that's slightly more complex and pretty. There's a little glass slot in between that almost is like a street, and you can see the back of the existing house, the brickwork of it, a little bit of theatre in there. And it's a luxurious house. It's got a consistency in internal finishes in it as you go through it. The black ironmongery, some of the black tones and colours with a little bit of sparkle on it, are similar to the Victorian, the beauty and sparkle of the Victorian house itself. It's got an external eating area with canopies over and a little sun trap. We always want to, in this northern part of Europe, be able to get people outside. Nobody wants to go out too far from the kitchen, so it's connected to the kitchen area as well. Gives you that lovely outside space. So it's creating something that is functional, something that is beautiful, something that is of our time, something that doesn't impinge on the conservation area itself, because you don't really see it from the road. So the house looks the same, built it on the back rather than the side, so the house has still got space to breathe. And It's something the client's really happy with, which is the important thing, and something that we think is a great piece of architecture. So we just want to have happy people, and we have happy people. We're happy, clients happy, and I think the residents in Malone Park are happy as well.